Hi everyone. Oh, I missed my little intro slide. Did it actually say that I was from Madrid? Okay, great. I moved to Madrid last August to be closer to the engineering team that we have out of there, and to work more closely with our VP of Engineering, Jorge, who's actually based in Madrid. And I'm glad you guys caught that detail. Well, it's exciting for me to be here to share our roadmap with you guys. I think what I want to do is, in the limited time that we have, instead of talking about the next release, to talk about some new apps that are coming out for 6.2. And you know, with our 7.0 release, which we're scheduling for next year in 2015, there are a lot of things that we're working toward, but I think you'll be quite surprised and hopefully pleased with some of the things that are still coming for 6.2. And to start, I just want to lay the table out in terms of what is Liferay. I get this question many times, and the common answer we used to have in the past is, hey, Liferay is whatever you want it to be. You can build whatever you want on top of Liferay. And where that is still true, I think starting with 6.1, starting with 6.2, as Brian talked about earlier, we started thinking about Liferay as a platform for engagement. And we came up with this one sentence that kind of encompasses what we really feel Liferay is and where we see Liferay headed. And that really is, Liferay is a platform that provides the capabilities and tools to build compelling audience engagement experiences. Now, audience engagement may not be something that you're doing today. You may be focused on, hey, I need to build an intranet. Hey, I need to build a website. I want to do these things. And that's great. Liferay empowers you to be able to do those things. But what we wanted to shift our focus on for the product and the vision was to really answer the question of, why do you create a website? Why do you create an intranet? Why are you trying to do these things? And at the end of the day, as Brian talked about earlier, it's about the relationships. It's about being able to manage these experiences and engage your audiences, whether they're your own employees, your customers, your prospects, or they're your partners. So with 6.2, we focused on Liferay as a platform for engagement. We wanted to enable you with this release to reach your audience across different channels with our support for mobile throughout the relationship lifecycle. And what I want to do today is talk about how we're trying to allow you to do that with many of the apps that we're building now. And I want to focus on one app that's coming out that I'm not sure if many of you know about, but it's not ready yet. We're developing it right now as we speak. And it's our content targeting module, as we're calling it now. And what this will allow you to do is this will allow you to be able to create user segments, be able to relate content to those user segments, and provide you some reports on how well you're doing with being able to reach your audiences. Now, to start, we start with just the whole concept of being able to segment your users. So you have your website, and you know that, okay, for Liferay.com, we know that we have developers that come to our site. We have end users. We have business decision makers. We have all these different types of roles that come to our site. How can we engage with them better? By putting in front of them the content that's going to be most relevant to them. So what you see here is, for a site that we've created, we have a new option under configuration where you can that we're calling audience targeting, where you can be able to define your user segments. And so to create a user segment, all you need to do is give a name and a description and set some rules about how users would fall underneath that segment. So I have some simple rules: gender, age. And what's great about the way that we've approached building these features out in Liferay, going back to the theme of platform, is you can actually add your own custom rules. So that rule that you saw earlier, age, is no more than an app that we deployed on top of this server that provides this rule. And so as you come across your own rules that you need to create, you can create them, deploy them into your Liferay instance, and Liferay will be able to detect the addition of that new rule and add it so that you can define your user segments with it. Now, moving beyond user segments and defining those user segments, we go to the actual content. So how will you map this content to each of your user segments? And we're essentially using our tagging infrastructure to be able to do that. So as you upload files, as you have files that already exist, you can be able to categorize each of the content that you have for a specific user segment. And once you have your users defined and your content defined for your segments, you want to be able to create a personalized experience on your site. So a site might look something like this. You might have, for example, if recommended assets, which is a list of content, maybe training offers, a personalized feed. And for a content list, what we're providing is basically the ability to dynamically display relevant content to a user segment based on different asset types you can choose. And for actual content, what you can do here is if you have individual pieces of content, you can be able to define what content you're going to display to each segment. So you can add more rules, more segments in which you can display different content in that area. Moving beyond user segments and being able to display content based on user segments, we also created the concept of campaigns. And with a campaign, you can create a way to be able to display content based upon a campaign that you may be running through your marketing. And with that campaign, what you have is the concept of being able to describe attach a user segment to that campaign, the start and end date, priority. And the thing that we're working on right now is the ability to attach a goal to a campaign. So a goal would be something like submitting a form, clicking on a link, hovering over a link, viewing a page, so that you can associate your campaigns with a goal you want your end users to do, and we can provide you some reports and metrics based upon your conversion rate. And on the content display side for the campaigns, you'll also be able to have a little widget that will display different content based upon your campaigns. Now, once we have the goals associated with the campaigns, what we're planning to do within the next month or two is release a beta version of our content targeting. So if you're interested in being a beta tester for some of these new features that we're providing for 6.2, please contact me. We'd love to have you submit an application to be a beta tester and provide us feedback as we build these features out. And while we're working through that beta program, some of the things that we'll work on is the ability to then test the user experience based upon all the segments, as well as the reporting, being able to generate reports. And just like the custom rules, we're going to make it extensible in a way so that you can create your own custom rules based upon the data that you have here. And ultimately, I know we're focusing on content, but I also want to talk about how you should be thinking beyond content. Beyond the content that you have that you want to target, what about users? What about apps? What about other things that you want to recommend to users? We want to build this platform, this framework out in a way so that once we've handled how to be able to target content, that you can easily take that to target other types of content, whether they be users, apps, themes, layouts, offers, things like that. And I think this talks to the flexibility of Liferay as a platform. I know a lot of content targeting is very squarely centered around digital marketing and how you market against prospects. But the way we're trying to solve this problem is if you can personalize content not in a digital marketing on a website situation, but for your intranet, for your partner portal, so that you can deliver relevant content and relevant experiences to internal as well as external facing users, you have a solution here that is more encompassing of the things that you need to do to maintain those relationship life cycles that Brian talked about earlier this morning. And the reason we're able to develop and deploy and provide to you these plugins or these apps after we release 6.2 is because 6.2 itself already has the content targeting framework built into it. And for you developers, what that means is you can build your own portlets based upon our content targeting framework and be able to deliver your own personalized content that way as well. So we're really excited about some of the new capabilities that we're providing that focus around the theme of engagement with these content targeting apps. And again, we're going to be launching our beta program soon, within the next month or two. And if any of you have any feedback, if any of you have any interest in joining that program, please let me know. Some of the other marketplace apps that will be available for Liferay 6.2, the first one I want to mention is Portlet Sandbox. And Portlet Sandbox is actually already available today in the marketplace. I believe we released it about a week or two ago. And what the Portlet Sandbox allows you to do is it gives your portal resiliency by being able to take apps and being able to deploy them in a separate container, in a separate JVM, so that your portal, the health of your portal, isn't affected by apps that you may not have tested or you may have gotten through the marketplace that still need some vetting out. You can create them and deploy them in this sandbox environment and protect the health and overall stability and resiliency of your portal. The other app that we're working on is the Google Docs repository. So if you're familiar with our document library, we provide the SharePoint Documentum repository so that you can hook into those. And we're working currently on the Google Docs repository as well. So you can mount that into our document library and provide your users a single place in which they can interact with all their documents. And to support that, we've also built in the integration with Google Login, so you can use Google as your login. We are looking at, in addition just to mounting the Google Docs repository, providing some of the collaborative features through Google Docs actual integration so that you can go check out a doc, go to Google Docs, collaborate with your other users, and then check it back into the document repository. Finally, we have the Kaleo Forms plugin that, or app that we've worked on improving. So we've gotten a lot of feedback on the Kaleo Forms, and we realized that there was a usability problem with how the actual Kaleo Forms worked. And we took it through to one of our UX experts that we hired maybe a year and a half ago, and said, hey, we're getting this feedback from a bunch of customers about the usability about Kaleo Forms. Can you take a look at that and maybe make some suggestions about how this can be a little more usable? So he broke it down into different steps that you can take to be able to actually publish a form. And we feel like it's a good improvement, a lot more intuitive to use, and you can look forward to that later on this year as well. And to sort of round out the message of the added value that we're providing between these major or minor releases that we have, we're also launching a beta today for cloud services. And cloud services is a cloud service that works with your on-premise or cloud deployment of Liferay that provides added value to your Liferay installation that you already have. It's available for CE and EE, and some of the things that it can do today is provide you metrics, license management, and fixed tax management as well. And as we look into investing into the future for cloud services, we're looking at things like, are there things that we can provide as part of that cloud service that can provide value to the Liferay installation you already have? Things like analytics, potentially. Other things like, the document preview of the images and the video conversions. If you've ever used that feature in Liferay, you'll note that your server will take a hit if you upload a whole bunch of files because it's doing all that processing in the background. wouldn't it be great if there was an external service that can do all that work for you and not impact the processing, the CPU, the things that your servers need to do, which are probably more important in terms of serving your users. So those are some of the things that we're looking at in terms of the cloud services. And one thing we really want to do is take advantage of the fact that we can quickly iterate and make improvements to the cloud service. So as we already have some beta customers that we're working with on the cloud services side. If you're interested in managing many servers through our cloud services and want to provide some feedback, again, you can contact me and we can see if we can get you onto that program. So overall, I just want to talk about, close just with the release schedule. I know that the next release, 7.0, probably won't be out for about a year from now. But again, our focus here is to provide new features and improvements through the marketplace. So as you have these gaps, we try and basically schedule our releases, whether it's a minor or a major release, for every year. In the past, what we found was that people needed to customize, people needed to do a lot of things to Liferay in that time span to be able to really see value from their investment. And what we want to do there is create apps and create a way for you to be able to have more value throughout the entire life cycle that we have between our minor and major releases, so that you can continue to get value, whether it's out of the plugins that we're deploying intermittently between our releases, our big releases, or being able to provide those services through our cloud offering. Okay. So that's where we are today with Liferay and the apps that we're still developing for 6.2. Of course, we are also working on the major improvements for 7.0. And some of the things that we're tackling there is greater extensibility, modularity for the platform, things that will make our upgrades easier. We're also looking at adding more coverage for things like the application display templates, so that you can be able to modify Liferay without having to go in and extend it or modify or hook or change the things in the core. And we're really excited about the things that we're working on. We'll be able to provide more information about what we're headed, our bigger vision for 7.0 later on in the year. But if you're interested, contact your partner, your sales rep, and I'm sure they can be able to make sure that you're kept in the loop with the things that are going on in Liferay. Thank you very much.